Good morning. Welcome to Pike Creek Farm and welcome to 30 Days of Preparedness. This is my second video for this collaboration that is being organized by Big Valley Living, Michelle and JJ, and I am excited to be part of it and show you how I prepare or what I prepare. There are so many channels here that do so much more than me and I'm learning so much, but I like to share what I do too. So today, I just wanted to give you some information. Make sure you check the playlist down below and watch all the videos because there's going to be amazing videos all month, and comment on them. A good comment, a thoughtful comment, because there's going to be a drawing at the end on, let me get the date right for you, October 1st at 4 p.m. Pacific. So that's 7 p.m. my time because I'm in the Eastern time zone. And she's going to be giving away, well, first off, Avid Armor is a sponsor, and they are going to be giving away a chamber vacuum sealer, which is an amazing gift. If you win that prize, you will love it, love it, love it. I have a chamber vacuum sealer, and it is invaluable with how I can freeze pepper strips, and they look like I just put them in the freezer. It's amazing. So whoever wins that's going to be very excited, I'm sure. The second place prize is given away by JJ and Michelle. It's a $100 Amazon gift card. And then the third one, this is exciting, is going to be the book by Sutton's Days by Lisa Sutton. It is 100 Days to Preparedness. And it's going to be a signed copy. And if you've ever watched Lisa's channel, Sutton's Days, you know that she prepares, and it is her insurance. And it's your insurance when you have a prepared pantry, prepared house. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Renee, and I live on almost 8 acres in the thumb of Michigan. And today I thought I would share about what I had to learn a few years ago, something that I always wanted to learn and I failed at, and that is making bread. So I'm going to take you and show you some different methods and talk about them. But here's a drop biscuit that I made a few days ago, and I'm going to have that for breakfast with some apple butter that I canned. So these are easy, really easy, and anyone can do them. And if I needed to, I could do them on top of my stove. My wood stove over there. That's our insurance if the heat goes out, electricity, and if we need to keep warm in the winter. So 4 years ago, when 2020 happened, I couldn't get to the store. I had my daughter staying here, and she was at high risk. She has had cancer treatments and has lung issues, so we were avoiding people. Michigan was shut down pretty tight, so there wasn't a lot of easy access. And as you know, things flew off the shelves anyway. So I was determined to learn how to make bread. And I had started prior to that. I used to be the queen of killing yeast. I could kill yeast and have very flat bread. And my husband said to share this with you. It just takes practice. Don't get discouraged if the first time your bread doesn't come out as rounded as you like, as pretty as you like, not as light as you like. Just keep working on it. And all of us that make bread have some days where it's just not quite as good as other days. But it's the practice and just not giving up. Let's get into the kitchen and I'll just give you some of my tips. I am not an expert on bread making. I am not an expert on bread, but I'll just give you what I have learned and what I do. And I'd love to hear ideas from you too, definitely, because the more we share, the more we all learn. Okay, we're in my kitchen, and first thing I got out my containers. Look at, this is my all-purpose flour, and I love these containers. They have a nice seal, airtight seal that snaps down. I can see into them, and I'll have a link down below if you're interested in them, but I bought these 5 years ago and they're great. Here's my bread flour. When I first started making yeast breads, bread flour helped me a lot. It made a big difference. I was able to make a nicer textured bread. And I tried everything and just kept working at it and working at it. And the bread I make is very simple. It's yeast and flour and oil and water and salt. That's it. So it's not enriched. You don't need to have milk in it or sugar in it. It's just an old-fashioned basic white bread, and you can mix it up and add some wheat to it. And I have a video on that, and I will put the recipe down below because I think it's a great basic starter recipe, and there's nothing like fresh homemade bread. I mean, the hard part for me was learning that you're not supposed to cut it when it's warm because then it dries out. But I wanted to show you. My husband just went up north and he grabbed some sliced bread to have PB&Js up there. Look at the ingredients. Look at that. No wonder it stays fresh and not moldy for weeks. Yeah, you don't need to have all that in your bread. Okay, I am going to restock this with flour. Now, I always grab some bags like this, but I also go to the Mennonite bulk food store and I'll get 25 pounds or more. And those I keep downstairs in the white buckets with the 5 gallon they are, yeah, buckets with the lids that seal on them. I'm not worried about really long term with it because we go through quite a bit of flour, especially heading into this time of year. When I buy flour like this, I will stick it in the freezer for a few days and then bring it out and let it come to room temperature and put it in my container. That will kill off if there's any bugs in it, you know, any little microscopic things that could grow. And that's, you know, just part of flour. It's the nature of it. It's a little bit that won't fit, so I'll be probably just using that. So this one is restocked. I'm going to put it over to go away. Now, when you're baking yeast breads, you have to have yeast. So make sure you have yeast on hand, even if you don't plan on making any, you know, in the near future. This is yeast I just bought, and it's good until April 2026. And when I was starting to do yeast breads, this was my best friend. This yeast and bread flour made all the difference for me. All of a sudden, my breads were turning out. I think I just became more comfortable and understood the feel of the feel of the dough, where then I didn't have to use this all the time. I now buy this kind of yeast in the big bags, and I store it in my freezer. You don't have to pay attention to the date then. So that's the second ingredient for the yeast breads that you need to have stocked in your pantry. That's really important. And like I said, even if you're not a bread baker now, it doesn't hurt to have some because, you know, 2020, a lot of people had to learn how to make bread. And honestly, there's something therapeutic about making bread. It just makes you feel good inside. It's I don't know, it's good therapy. Now, what I do stock, and I watch on Amazon and Walmart for these to go on sale, is this Augustin Farm. This is bread, scone, and roll mix. This does not have the yeast in it. Nope. And then I also have the biscuit mix, and it does not have any baking powder in it. So instead of doing wheat berries, I have these downstairs and I just keep adding to them. The other thing, it's not just yeast breads you need to know how to make or that you can make. You can make the biscuits like I showed you. And those, you use baking soda. You also need to have baking powder on hand. And always check your Best By. Like these says Best By 2026. So you have to, like, every couple of years recheck and restock. But with these you can make Irish soda bread. I make a cheddar jalapeno Irish soda bread. And it's so good. And even the next day you can toast it, and you can put it on a griddle and heat it up and brown it that way. So there's Irish soda bread, there's rolled biscuits, there's drop biscuits, there's even like quick sweet breads. All of those things are good skills to know how to make. How about flatbreads? During 2020, my daughter was here and we love Indian food, so we decided we were gonna make some Indian food, and we ordered some spices, but then we didn't have any naan. And if you don't know what naan is, it's kind of like a pita, but it's softer and it's so good. So we made naan. I could make naan on the top of my stove, my wood stove. I have a cast iron skillet, and you just brown it in there, you let it rise, and it does not have yeast. Homemade tortillas, cornbread, have cornmeal on hand. There are so many options. I mean, I keep Augustin Farm pancake mix even on hand for long term, because then that's another flour product, and you can do more than just pancakes with pancake mix. So I know that low carb and no carb is a real big trend right now, but in certain situations, you're going to want to have that nourishment, that satisfaction, that filling, and you can feed a bunch of people when you add bread to what you have. And then there's things like, well, sourdough. That became real popular because you could naturally harvest your yeast, capture your yeast. And that's something I'm going to try, I've decided, this winter. Last winter, I worked with Amish Friendship Starter. I just took mine out of the fridge today. I'm going to let it come to room temperature, feed it, and bake with that. This is sweet sourdough, but it's not just for sweet breads. I make a rustic loaf, a round loaf, mix 2 loaves that my husband loves. I make no-knead bread with it, with nice crusty. So there's so many recipes that you can have using so many different ways to make bread. And I have videos on making bread with this. I have a whole playlist actually for the Amish Friendship Starter. But my favorite thing to make now out of it is mix 2 loaves at once. I put 1 in the freezer. I just love that bread. So what I'm trying to say is start with whatever you feel comfortable with and learn how to make that bread well. Think about if you have to make it in an alternative baking method, like a Dutch oven. Make sure you always have some of these supplies on hand and rotate through your leavening agents. Learn how to make all the different kinds, because you don't know when you'll need it. And honestly, once you start making it, it's addictive. You'll love it. It's so much fun to explore all the different kinds of bread you can make. That's why this winter I'm going to do traditional sourdough. We'll see how it goes. It might be a flop at first, but I won't give up. I'll keep working on it. Another thing is, if you're gluten-free, make sure to stock up on gluten-free flour. So I will have all my bread videos linked below, all the different kinds, and also the Friendship Starter recipes. And I hope this helps you. And I'm learning, and I have a lot more yet to learn, but I've come a long ways from a few years ago. Always keep learning, and that's what's so perfect about the 30 Days of Preparedness. We're all going to learn so much. So make sure to watch all the videos and comment. And thank you for joining me today. I hope that this will help you, and give me some ideas down below how you like to make bread or what you do, because I'm always wanting to learn. Thank you so much for your time and for watching and visiting me here. We'll see you next time at Pike Creek Farm.